I had a planned home birth that was unsuccessful. So trigger warning, I never really did the proper research when I decided to do a home birth. I didn't really realize that like what they do at home is significantly different than what they would do in a hospital, obviously. I thought that since I was low risk, I didn't have any pregnancy complications. I had a great pregnancy. I love being pregnant. I never thought that I would have an issue. So when you have a home birth, the midwives check the baby's heart rate with a Doppler. So they're only really checking for maybe a few minutes at a time. You're not really getting like a strict like timeline of like how the heart rate is doing as you would in a hospital setting with like an NST scan and things like that. I went into labor naturally. Things were fine. I was dealing with my contractions. I was 4 centimeters dilated. I was progressing. Things were going good. My midwife checked the heartbeat initially. Things were fine. But then again, you know, you're only getting the heartbeat for like a few minutes. So it's like things can happen. She checked the heartbeat again and couldn't find the heartbeat.
Tiff is sharing her experience with a home birth. Sadly, the birth went wrong and the baby was lost.
We were convinced that there was something wrong with the Doppler. It was staticky. We decided to go to the hospital, get an NST scan. Hopefully everything was fine and we would just go back home and finish the home birth. We got to the hospital and there was no heartbeat. So that really sucked, and that's kind of why I'm here today and why I'm sharing my story. So I went into labor spontaneously. I labored at home. I was planning a home birth. I was about like 4 centimeters dilated. I believe it's kind of all a blur, but I was like in early stages of labor when we couldn't find a heartbeat. And when I talked to the hospital after all of this happened and I delivered my daughter sleeping, I asked them if I came in, would you like immediately put monitors on me? And they're like, honestly, no. Like, we want you to come back when you're like a few more centimeters dilated. Probably tell you to go home. I don't want to scare anyone. I know that a lot of people have beautiful home births and I'm so happy that that is the case. It's just not the case for everyone. It certainly was not the case for me. So I'm allowed to say my story because I didn't have a good outcome. That being said, if I ever get pregnant again, I, first of all, am not a candidate for a home birth anymore, obviously, but I've just learned so much since my situation that I will be going to the hospital. I will be getting induced just because of, you know, I had a late term stillbirth. I was 39 weeks and 6 days, and I just don't ever want to be pregnant for longer than 39 weeks. That's just personal preference. I know there's not a lot of data to like show that, you know, it makes a difference, but for anxiety reasons, I will be getting induced if I'm ever pregnant again at probably 37 weeks, to be honest.
Her experience with home birthing has left her feeling anxious about any possible future pregnancies.
That's my story. I know a lot of people have beautiful home births. I was super passionate about it and I still think it's amazing. Like, if you have an amazing home birth, like, I'm genuinely so happy for you. If you were planning a home birth and it ended up not well, let me know, because I feel a lot of guilt over this and I know people in the comments are gonna probably make me feel about it, but I can't go back in time, unfortunately, but I can share my story and hopefully it helps anyone in a positive way.
We are so glad that Tiff is able to share her story so that other mothers can have a better understanding of the risks associated with home birthing. In the comments, people shared their sympathy, with one person saying, "Home birth midwife here. It's incredibly important for people to hear your story and to understand the risks and speak to their provider about what kind of monitoring they do. So very sorry for your loss, Mama." While another said, "I've had 5 successful home births and 4 hospital births. There are risks for both, but home birth isn't for everyone and I'm so sorry this happened." As always, thank you for watching Happiest. If you liked this video, then be sure to follow our other social pages for more content like this. And if you have any of your own videos that you'd like to share with us, be sure to send them in.